Well, I'm back for another round of figuring out this RV's problems. If you recall, I'm struggling through a transmission problem where the thing kicks into neutral while I'm driving down the road. It could be doing 25, 30 miles an hour. Well, not normally that slow. It could be doing 40 miles an hour. It could be doing 65 miles an hour. And the transmission will kick itself into neutral. And it's not slipping, it's just going into neutral while I'm driving down the road. And sometimes it'll re-engage, sometimes it'll have to go till I'm like doing 40 miles an hour, then it'll kick back into gear. And it normally only happens when I'm in drive. So I've been doing a lot of research. If you look at my earlier videos, I replaced the manual lever transmission sensor, MLPS I think is what it's called. And that didn't do anything. I had problems the whole time I was going camping with it. So more research, more YouTube research, and I'm going to try to take this dashboard apart, because inside here there's some sensors behind the odometer, and I've read that some people can have corrosion back there, and that solved their problems if they take it apart and fix that. Here's the interesting thing. When I bought the RV, I know that the previous owner had AMCO replace a bunch of parts, and one of the parts that he said was replaced was a computer behind the dashboard, and they said that solved the problem for a while. And interestingly enough, when I bought this RV, I was installing this phone holder here, and I noticed that it was missing 2 screws right here in the dash, and these screws are the pieces that hold the instrument cluster in place. So I know the instrument cluster has been taken out, and I'm wondering if that's the part, if that behind the instrument cluster was some of the parts that were replaced when AMCO rebuilt the transmission and got the transmission working for 5,000 miles before I started having problems. So today I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to see if I can't find some corrosion behind it or exploded capacitors or something, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing. So here's what I'm going to do first. I have my Phillips head. And by the way, if you guys have a motorhome and you're wondering where a bunch of your fuses are, check this out. Your motorhome probably does this right here. This thing flips up, and there's all kinds of wiring and stuff back here, and it's no... I mean, in my motorhome, I have, here's a red wire. Who even knows where this goes to, you know? It's disconnected somewhere. There's wiring that's disconnected down here. You know, there could be all kinds of problems with just the wiring that I find laying around under the dashboard that might be causing this transmission issue. Who knows? But I do know for a fact that this dashboard has been taken apart in the past because, you know, it's missing 2 screws. So I'm just going to take the instrument cluster out right now. Here's screw 1. You know, I'm going to tilt this thing up. There's like a little leg that'll... Now, where's this thing hook onto? There's a little leg will hook it up to where it doesn't fall down. And I had it hooked up here. I can't remember how to do it. I think I just did that. And it braces this up so I can work on it, but I'm going to pull this out right now. Okay, so there's only 2 screws and the instrument cluster came out. Doesn't appear to be in the greatest condition, I'll be telling you. It really doesn't appear. I mean, look at that. This thing just comes right off. Looks like a couple of the mounting brackets have been broken. I mean, it probably shouldn't come apart like this, I don't think. You probably shouldn't be able to just pull the instrument cluster apart like that. There's dead bugs inside of here. You see a dead bug here. Here's a missing light bulb right there. Wonder if that's anything important. Let's see. That would be my see, the check engine light is there, but it doesn't look like the light for my volts is there. The battery light, that's missing. Also, well, that's it. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's missing. The voltmeter light is bad. So, you know, this thing is dusty. This thing, it looks like there's rust on some of the bolts back here. You know, so it could very well be that this thing's bad. This little PSOM is what it's called. It's an acronym, and I don't know what it stands for. But yeah, I mean, these bolts are rusty right here. I see it. The bolts and nuts that are holding all the instruments in, all the gauges. So I'm going to keep pulling this thing apart, and hopefully I'll find out, you know, there's some corrosion or maybe even some broken solder in this unit. Upon further playing with my RV, here's a stink bug for you. They're everywhere this year. Out the window with it. Oh, I discovered all kinds of stuff under this dashboard. I mean, somebody's come in here and had a heyday with this. I grabbed my voltmeter because down here is a switch for the radio between travel and park mode, right? I'm like, what are these wires hanging here? What do these do? These some wires with electrical tape wrapped around them and a connector that I can't figure out. It looks like there is a socket for a light bulb here, and there is. And there's a socket here that's just hanging in the air. I think it's for the switch down here, because when I touched this to the connector, sparks flew, which it probably shouldn't do. You know, sparks probably shouldn't fly when I touch two pieces of metal together and the RV is off. So I'm going to see if this thing is live right now even. Oh, DC volts. Hook my voltmeter up to it. Let's see here. That doesn't appear to be live. That part's live, I think, yeah. Well, anyhow, you probably shouldn't have sparks flying. I mean, this thing bouncing around, throwing sparks maybe while I'm driving could be a source of who knows how many problems in this RV. That's why I say these things are rolling piles of trouble, especially an older used one where people have tinkered around with it for who knows how many years. So the plot thickens. There's scorch marks here on the underside of this dashboard cowl. There's been a fire under this dash at some point. You can see the flame marks going up the underside. Also, you can see where this is all burnt in here. I was pulling some wires apart on an interesting part of the dashboard. Should have nothing to do with it. But that part that was sparking, that's the radio control. You know, controls park or travel mode to the radio. Well, I found broken wire there, but I also found on that evidence of fire there in that switch, or, you know, badly burned. It looks like a fire though. I mean, this plastic here is all melted, and there's looks like scorch marks on the wire there for that little park switch. Weird, you have a fire there, and you know, everything's wrapped in electrical tape, clearly not from the factory. And there's a light bulb missing. I don't even know where that light bulb goes. I can't find a spot where that light connector would even be in this dashboard. It's confusing. I have a broken wire under here where the scorch mark is. I can't find where the wire is that broke off from the connector. I also have a couple fuses missing in a fuse block. There's wires going into the bottom of the fuse block where the fuse would go, but there's no fuse in it. And I'm hesitant to, you know, turn the key on because I have the whole dashboard disconnected. So I'm going to reconnect. I'm going to clean all the connectors here with alcohol, which I left in the garage, with alcohol, cotton swabs. I'm going to put new dielectric grease on everything and hook this thing back up. And then I'm going to turn the key on and see if I can get power down to this fuse block where the fuses are missing, and see if there's supposed to be power in there, or if there's supposed to be fuses in there. But it's just so confusing and so frustrating because clearly people have done a lot of work into this dashboard and have made a real mess of things for me by just leaving such sloppy wiring and broken wires and broken connectors everywhere. Obvious fire. It's a very confusing thing. I'll just keep working my way through it piece by piece. See, here's another fun piece right here. Look. See that wire? What's that supposed to be connected to? It's a ground, but what's missing its ground is the question. So here's what I'm doing to clean up the connectors here. I mean, maybe I should do more. I don't know, but this is all I have right now. I'm not going to take sandpaper to it. So I'm getting the cotton swab all wet. No key, so there should not be any power to these connectors. And I can see where there was old grease on it, you know, but it's green. And green's not normally a color you associate with things in good health, right? I'm going to swab these things off and try to get that old grease off, get that old green off. I don't know, maybe I should use a little bit of sandpaper on it too. just to sand off any corrosion, but it doesn't look like there's any corrosion on it. Just gonna get that old grease off, and this is doing the trick. I'm gonna dry it off with the other end. It's cleaning them up pretty nice, and I'll do the same inside here where these connectors go. I mean, that's kind of dirty in there too. See if I'll just do this all the way around, see if that makes any difference. Alright, what I'm also decided to do is pull off on the back of the instrument cluster, oh, I don't know, a couple of little circuit boards. These boards don't have any type of grease at all on the connectors where this would touch the contacts. It's conceivable that maybe they were not making good contact. I'm going to clean these up again too. I'll clean this up and I'll reattach it. I mean, these things, contacts, I don't know how dirty they were. I know this is out of focus, but I mean, the swabs themselves got to be pretty gross after I swabbed everything off. So I'm going to clean these connectors too on the back of these circuit boards. I'm going to look over these diodes too, see if I can get if I can see any visible damage. Unfortunately, I don't know what they're supposed to be. And on the back, the solder is covered up by this black padding here, so I can't check the solder connections to see if the solder is bad. That stinks, but I'm going to do that too. So I cleaned everything up, those little circuit boards, and I put them back on there. I don't think it's going to do anything, but it was worth a shot. One thing I did do is I looked and I saw, you know, I'm missing that light bulb for the volt. I looked and saw what light bulbs were here, and there was a light bulb down there for a wait to start light, which is obviously for a diesel engine. I'm running a 460 gas, so I pulled that light bulb out and I put it up in place of the voltmeter. So hopefully I have a voltmeter now when I hit the key. And no, it wasn't just the light bulb that was missing, it was the whole connector was gone. I don't know why that would be. You know, it's just, again, one of those mysteries of owning a used RV. You know, who knows what people have done with this thing. So, at least I'll have a voltmeter light now. And a bunch of clean connectors. And I'm going to put it back together and just make sure that the instrument cluster functions after I put it all back together. Then I might go take it on a test drive. I don't know, I'm probably going to go dig back through and try to find some more places where wires have been burnt and try to replace some things. Well, here we are. It's actually a different day. Over the weekend I had to work, so I'm back out here on a Monday messing with this. I want to give you guys a first-hand look of this mess. Like, this is the kind of thing I'm dealing with here. Like, see this? This wire, it was just laying there broken under the dash. This light bulb connector, who knows where it goes. This is the fuse block that has power going to it, but there's no fuses in it. This is the fuse that was missing when I got the RV. I wondered why there were no marker lights when I drove it. The marker light fuse was gone, completely gone when I got the RV. Put it in, all the marker lights work around the RV. Why was it missing? Who knows? Oh, here's another thing. You know, this panel down here, the levels panel didn't work at all. Well, I got it to work. And I wonder if that's not part of our transmission problem. I don't know, man. I'm so confused about what to do with this thing. You know, I cleaned those connectors, but the more I think about it, the more I think it probably did nothing. Because it's not the dash, it's not the instrument cluster that has the programmable speed thing in it. I don't know, guys. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this instrument panel like it was when I got it. I'm going to pull the marker light fuse because it wasn't there when I got it and the transmission was shifting well when I got it. I'm kind of going to return the instrument cluster, or the whole dashboard, to the way it was when I bought the RV and see if that fixes the transmission issue. If so, you know, that's something at least. I'm looking for something, because right now I'm just completely clueless on what to do with this transmission shifting problem. I mean, there's so many things on the internet that tell me what to do. I mean, it keeps going on and on. Check all the grounds in the entire system, make sure they're all clean. I don't even know where they would all be in this thing. I mean, they're buried somewhere under here. I'm thinking I'm going to look for the transmission computer under the dash somewhere, see if I can find that. I kind of think I know what that looks like. I looked up an image of it today. And if I can find that, that might clean those connections too. But I'm going to button this thing up, disconnect all the things that I had that were disconnected when I got it, and see if the RV drives well at that point. That's my plan. This will be the last portion for this video series. I buttoned the dashboard back up and took out bunches and bunches of loose wires that I found under the dash. There's stuff that fell over there. I mean, that's ridiculous, all these loose wires under the dash. Somebody's gone through this RV and done all kinds of crazy things under the dash. You know, there was that fire under there. Who knows what that cooked? I don't know, but here's a really fun thing. You ready? So you know that check engine or that battery light that was missing? I found out why it was missing. It stays on all the time. That's why the bulb was gone, because it doesn't go out. Even though volts look like they register fine, the battery light is on. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's some fault somewhere. It never ends, does it? Well, anyway, we're gonna go camping this weekend. I'm gonna drive the RV tomorrow and we'll see if anything got fixed or changed. I doubt it has for the little bit I did under here, but at least I cleaned up some loose wires. And see how it does this weekend, and I'll shoot some video from camping again at Nimisila. Have a great time. Thanks, YouTubers. Bye.